Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now we're still in the confines of early 2026. I think January you can still get away with New Year's content, and that's exactly what we're going to do. How about some credit card and personal finance New Year's resolutions for you as well? We'll talk about some tweaks and changes I want to make to the lineup, some personal finance ones as well, and we'll even talk about some channel thoughts I've had as well. Solicit your feedback down below, and of course, go ahead and play along with me. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. So I will do the credit card ones first. There are a few, some that I've touched on in previous videos, but changes I want to make to the credit card structure, earning, how I go about doing things. So the first one is coming off of the how much I made video in 2025, the earning caps. As you may know, when I go into the year, I'm trying to get $5,000 from credit cards, which covers intro offers and points earned, $10,000 from bank promotions, and $10,000 from referrals. Well, every year I've hit those numbers. Bank promotions number seems fine because you still have to push right up to the end of probably early Q4, late Q4, depending on how the offers fall, to get over the line to hit 10,000. So I think the 10,000 number from bank promotions is pretty sound and, if anything, going to get harder. Referral ones, I would like to move that one up from 10,000, but at the same time, they keep taking away referral programs from us. Eventually with the second channel run on the bank not having the widest following ever, you kind of run out of how many times can I repeat the same referral offers and max them out. So 10,000 might be the number. We could have a stretch goal of maybe 12,000, I want to say. But the one that definitely needs to change is credit cards. That one's at 5,000. And even though last year, I didn't have a ton of intro offers. Granted, I did have a big one from Ramp being $1,500, and we had Smartly. We're still able to smash it and end up at almost $9,000. So all that to say, I think the earning cap or earning goal should move up. I'm torn on the number. I kind of want to make it 8,000. I think it's 7,500 with a stretch goal of 8,000. Why 7,500? Well, it's the number that for this year, at least 2026, that you can fund your IRA to. So I think it'd just be cool. Like, hey, I funded it all with the bank's money. Would be a cool thing. So I'm going to move that one up. So going into this year, we'll have to try harder. Why? Because again, I think it'll try to force me to have to figure out something to do with those Freedom cards I have and the Discover card I have. It's a lot of 5x back that just doesn't get used. It's harder to liquidate gift cards, but that actually rolls us into our next New Year's resolution, I should say, which are goal, which is figure out how the heck to use all those Freedom Flexes. I've got 5 between OG Freedoms and Freedom Flexes, and I don't use them at all. It's funny, but it's not funny. In 2025, scammers used my Freedom cards more than I did. I had to replace like 3 of them. Again, they don't leave the house anymore, so I don't use them, but they were just compromised, for whatever means. The dark web does their thing, and I didn't use them nearly as much as the scammers did. So, it all worked out, of course. You're protected, but, just kind of funny, but not funny. And, each card, if you were to max it out every quarter, it's $75 in cash back. And it's funny, I said that, I wrote this outline, and then Q1 for Chase is dining, Norwegian cruises, and some kind of, charity thing. So I'm not going to be able to do it in Q1 because, you're not going to buy that many. I don't eat out, right? So you're not going to buy that many dining gift cards, and you're not going to, I don't think, find a restaurant that sells Visa gift cards. But for the rest of the quarters, the real trick is what's the easiest way to liquidate these Visa gift cards? It is becoming increasingly more difficult. Yes, you can buy them, you can pay taxes with them, but by the time you buy them, and pay the activation fee, then pay the % processing fee of your taxes, you didn't really come away with anything. I think I did the math. You'd make like $20 maybe. It's not really worth all that. It is a little bit worth more if you were doing travel and you could play the upside of transfer partners, but we're not doing that. We're basically cash back. So I do have that on the list, which plays into our original goal. The other one here for cards, I think, is lock in on the necessary cards, because by the time summer rolls around, like probably July, August, I'll be like one of 12, I want to say, and be able to go and apply for everything. And by now, I don't care at all about hard pulls or anything like that. Shoot or shoot, we take hard pulls like Skittles. We'll put that on a shirt one day. But if the earning cap is or the earning goal is going to move up, that means we definitely need to gold plate a little bit more. So we are always getting 5%, which means you're going to have to focus on, I've always said it, the autograph journey, because I'm very weak in travel, although Bank of America cards do cover me off somewhat. and then I'm going to need to get another Cash Plus, which I don't really want to do. I'd much rather them let me product change smartly back into one, but I call them once a month. They keep saying no, so we'll see if they let me do it by then or not. And then we'll probably have to decide, do we go after some cards that we know have high intro offers that we can product change later into something useful, like a third custom cash card? Do we try to finagle some stuff around so we bring in cards like, I have the PayPal debit card, it's just not being used. I could swap that into gas, for example, frees up a custom cash to do something else. You wouldn't swap around something like the AAA Daily Advantage from groceries because it's only good for groceries. So we do have some flexibility in the lineup. A lot of this would be helpful if we could figure out, again, how to best liquidate Visa reloads to max things out, even if you're paying a little bit. But I think that's a big part of it. So lock in on those cards and then figure out we're going to get pretty niche at some point, but that's a good problem to have, because if you want to keep hitting $75,000 and $8,000 in earnings and free cards, well, you're going to have to make sure everything is getting 5% back, and we're mostly there. There's still some room for improvement and some gold plating as well. Also, I'll have to figure out what I want to do with my Bank of America Unlimited cash. Is the 3.1% is only good for a year, so I mean, wishful thinking, but if they continue to run this as an intro offer, we've seen it for like 6 months now, so it's not crazy to think they would continue this offer. Do I need to save another slot so I can apply for another one and keep another year 3.1% going, versus going down to 2.6? Things like that. So gold, you could put that on gold plating, but it is in support of the other. All those, I guess, are in support of earning more money, which is the sole reason we do this anyway. So I think those resolutions do track our goals, I guess you could say. So here's the 4 more for you. These are not specifically credit card related. You may care. If you don't, that's totally fine, but I did want to throw them in here to be a well-rounded video. Separate funds. This one's kind of funny. So, you're supposed to keep everything separate. It makes it easier. So like your own money, then let's say Profitable Content LLC money, and then for each the 2 rental houses, you have separate accounts for all those. I don't really do that. Now for credit cards, I decided using I think I had a Blue Business Cash it was actually in this LLC's name, but when Smartly came around, I was like, this is costing me too much money. It's costing me 2%. I might as well just use the Smartly for everything. We're not doing a ton of business spend that's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's a red flag or anything. It was just it's costing me money to just use the business card. You don't have to use a business card. The point of the business card is just to make it a little bit simpler and keep everything separate, but you certainly don't have to. You can show that you're reimbursing yourself or whatnot, and it's fine. I don't even take it that seriously. However, the point being is when you get paid out from all these various things, I tend to just dump them into one account. And you're like, well, why would you do that? Well, I do that because all the extra money I make from bank promotions, from YouTube, from credit cards, I send directly to this mortgage once a month as an extra payment. And the rentals, I've talked about this in a Q&A we did recently to close out last year. It's not really that much money that you clear, honestly. I don't even look at it as an income source. The government, disagrees with me on that, but because both of those houses are not in escrow, you're still getting, one of them will get like $1,200 a month, right? That mortgage payment, I think, was like 9 something when it was escrow. Now it's like 4 and some change, it's like a little 1,000 square foot type house, starter type house, right? But now you're responsible for the taxes and insurance, and when they come out December 1st and July 1st, but it always kind of sneaks up on you when those colorful bills come in the mail, and it feels like this massive bill. Well, it is a massive bill. Like one summer was $8,500 and the other was like $3,300. Because you don't have any money stashed away for it, because I keep using it all to pay down this, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it does sort of mess you up. So I should probably reevaluate keeping these things a little bit more separate. So when the bill comes up, it's not like, oh man, I just got like, what is that? $14,000, $15,000 like all at once, even though it's coming. So I could take a look at that. The same on a lesser extent with the LLC deal, right? Because, we don't have that big of bills for this, but you're talking about, hosting the website once, paying for hosting, paying for plugins, like blocking spam comments on the website, things of that nature. So a lesser degree over here, but still same concept. I probably won't do it because I'm really hardcore locked in on using all available funds to pay this off, but, whatever. it's on there. Wishful thinking, perhaps. All right, on to the channel. I have 3 for the YouTube, and we'll wrap it up. Better thumbnails. I don't, as you can't tell, if you haven't noticed by now, I'm not really particularly into being a creator or a creative. I think that's one of those titles that folks came up with because they didn't like the word influencer and they wanted to feel special. But whatever, fine. I never really cared about the thumbnail. I still don't care about making crazy thumbnails and things of that nature, but the thumbnails are pretty bad. And so you've probably seen some. I'm trying to get better at thumbnails. I've on Affinity Studio is an app by Canva. A lot of folks use Canva to make their thumbnails. Affinity Studio is free. I've downloaded that. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to mess around with it, get better, more eye-catching, I guess you will. Why? Well, we're approaching 100,000, which is fantastic, but we also need to get the view count up a little bit. And it's not, I mean, obviously I want people to watch as much as possible, but I'm more so the mind of like, hey, if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, then don't. Like, that's fine. Not every topic is for everyone. This topic probably isn't even for a lot of people. But as I always look around, try to figure out like, okay, where's the next thing? Where can we bring in more money, capture more money? I think we're at the point now with this, like, before you try to find something else, like, why don't you just optimize what you have? And we definitely have not optimized thumbnails. Where the views are going up, which is fantastic, but I look around at some of my peers, I'm like, I think the only difference is really thumbnail. We're all yammering about the same stuff. I don't know. I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but for the most part, we're yammering about the same stuff. Different viewpoints, thought process, perhaps, but same stuff. The difference seems to be a thumbnail. Why not hire it out? Well, one, I don't want to spend the money. Two, I don't think that makes it easier. I think you've just traded work. Instead of making thumbnail, now you're a vendor manager, which you're managing sales or statements of work and due dates and deliverables and revisions. Plus, you've created a bottleneck for yourself. If I make these videos on Saturdays and one of them has to go on Sunday, like it's a whole thing, right? Plus, I do think you should know how to do it yourself before hiring it out. Not that I would, but that's to answer your question. If you are thinking that, that's why it was considered, but I'll just do it myself. I don't think it's the hardest thing in the world. Again, we're not doing MKBHD level productions over here. I'm just talking about a little bit better to be a little bit more eye-catching. Reluctantly, my face will still be in them. When I started making thumbnails, I wasn't in them at all, but I think people at least know what to look for. So you'll see some thumbnail designs. Some will be awful, some will be passable. Feel free to let me know what you think down below. But that is the new project for this year. More so here than the second channel, but I'll do them on both. The other one is Discord. We do have a Discord server. It's not a plug per se, but kind of a plug. So it's a channel members group, and the join button down below tells you more. It's $5 a month. You can join anytime, cancel anytime. It's shared between both channels. The gist of it has always been to build the most profitable community on the internet. And for a good while, I think we were doing that. We were around 100 members, give or take, and it's a very, very niche thing. I don't expect a lot of people, right? However, the goal was, we would be able to slot members in referral links in videos and blog posts, right? But we are really running out of inventory because the referral programs, we've just taken from these referral programs. And so now what you have is we've lost PSECU, says, hey, no, it's very clearly called out, do not post this on social. Upgrade, I can't even generate a referral leak anymore. Security Plus ended their program. Some of these things just don't outright pay. M1 has nerfed themselves. I could go on and on and on, but the gist of it is we've lost a lot of inventory, a lot of places that I can slot people, and some that we do have, like Chime, isn't even overly reliable anymore. And that's really the main reason that people would join the Discord. I'm not that cool of an attraction, right? And so, I think people are still getting value from it, but we have lost about 20 people. I'm like, that's totally fair. I get why you would bail. So I'm going to have to figure out something to do, because some people have told me they're nice enough to say, hey, you put me in a Chase Inc. video and I got like 5 referrals and that's enough to pay for my membership for the rest of my life. And that was the point of $5. Like, I wanted more money, but I also didn't want it to be cost prohibitive. And I also didn't want to charge that much and to be on the hook for getting you that much money to cover the membership. I can get you 1 referral, 2 referrals, and that covers you for the year. So I don't know that, it's not priced so crazy that I had to come up with something amazing, but we do need to do something different. I don't know what it's going to be really at this point, but if you are a member, I thank you for it, and it is at least on my mind. If you have some ideas, you can definitely let me know down below, but I am pretty dead set on keeping it at $5. I don't think I've provided much more value than that, so I don't think it would be right to raise up the price. That's not changing, but we're going to do something else until we see these programs come back. Granted, we did see some in the back end, being OKX and Public, who really helped us out. We got a lot of people paid that way, but still, like, it's yeah, we're just running out of inventory. So that's at least on my mind. I don't have a solve for you. Maybe we'll do a mid-year check-in on these if I remember, and we'll see what I come up with. So yeah, I've done things like make sure the website will auto-post to the Discord, which doesn't sound like much, but trying to give people one-stop shop for all the stuff in the world of profitable content. So the videos, the blog posts go into one spot. We've added threads in the Discord for crypto and things of that nature. So again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just something where people go like, yeah, this is still worth it. The last one is the second channel, so Run on the Bank. I've become disenchanted with that channel. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the concept of it. I love the name of it, Run on the Bank. I love what it stands for, taking the banks, making the bank's money become our money. So it's not going anywhere. The problem is that it doesn't really need to exist, in my opinion. And the reason being is the website now exists, and it's much easier and quicker and more efficient for everybody to just post a blog post about something. And you go read that, and you know what you have. The problem is that YouTube will at least find an audience, or has an audience that'll be like, float your video to people. The internet doesn't really work that way. So the best way to get the word out is still YouTube. And so that's fine. But then the problem is the videos don't need to be 8 minutes long. If you don't know, to get mid-roll ads, you need to be 8 minutes long, which is a choice. I'm choosing to make it 8 minutes long so I can get the mid-roll ads. However, I tried it without when I first started, and the money is like day and night different. And that channel doesn't really make that much money. I think I looked it up. That channel maybe pull in $5,000 this year. I think it was at $5,300 at the very end of December, which is nothing to scoff at because the videos are pretty low effort. I'm just redoing what I wrote earlier in the week on the blog post. But it ends up, and I'm pretty honest with them, say, hey, I'm going to plug some stuff for the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the video, right? I don't love doing that. So I've thought about, do I just make it a shorts channel and we just a quick 90-second thing? Like, that might work better, but I don't know about you, but I don't watch YouTube shorts. I watch TikTok shorts, or I guess everything's short on TikTok. It's funny, if someone posts a long TikTok, like your attention span is just blown, like, I can't handle this, you got to break this up. But then they break it up into parts, you get mad, because like, where's part two? All that to say, I don't know. I mean, on some level, it's fine. I think people get it. Like, the reason I in my mind, I've put selling stuff, not that we never plug anything over here, but for the most part, if you go over to Run on the Bank, you're here because you're going to sign up for an account. And so no one can really be mad and it's a referral or a credit card or what offer or whatever. So I think people know what they're going to get, and like, hey, they know the 8-minute thing, and it is what it is. And I also link the blog post down below, so you don't even have to watch the video if you don't want to. But I guess it just bothers me because like, this doesn't need to exist, but I also don't know a better way to do it. It might be YouTube Shorts, and then we could also just take the same short and put it on TikTok. But what does that do for the 8,000 people who chose to subscribe? They subscribe for full-length videos, not shorts. Shorts show up in a different feed entirely, so like, how would they know? And so I don't have the answer to this either, but it is on my mind, and you can let me know down below what you think. But again, we're almost at 100 over here, and we're not even at 10 over there, so there might not even be that much overlap. But anyways, I'm thinking about it. So it's on the list. Maybe the resolution is to solve that problem or reconcile it somehow. The same with the Discord deal. So anyway, I've rambled long enough in the new year. I guess one of my New Year's resolutions is not stopping to ramble. We're going to keep rambling. So there's that. I don't know what to tell you. So anyways, but that is what's on my mind for not only credit cards, but personal finance and the channels as a whole, so you can let me know your thoughts. What do you want to work on? Hey, you could just want to get jacked, or you could already be perfect the way you are. You can let me know either way, as well as I'll take your thoughts if you have thoughts on any of this as a viewer or a reader. I would appreciate to hear from you. But anyways, guys, that'll do for this one. So of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. We're posting content just like this every single week. Of course, we're right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on, wouldn't you know it, profitablecontent.com. As we said, it's the channel's blog. We have the latest news stories, bank promotions in case you didn't catch on, and credit card offers. Anyways, that'll do it for this one. As always, thanks so much for watching. Talk to you very soon in the next one.